Hello everyone, and welcome to Diamond Painting Reviews by Jene. Today's video is going to be a bit short. It will be somewhat of a whip and chat. I wanted to get this posted up for all of you today, which is Saturday, the 21st, I believe. Those of you that have been following me, you will know that I'm doing a collaboration with Diamond Painting Dog Dad, which is Rob. And I have been communicating with him about this for a couple of days. So I thought maybe I should just do a really quick whip and chat and talk to you all about this as well. I am under the weather. I have not been feeling good, and so I explained to Rob that I'm not going to be posting the video for the collaboration. I just do not have a lot of energy, and with this cough, I might end up going into a deep coughing frenzy, so I thought maybe it would be best not to do the video. Now, I do want to extend my apologies to Rob. I am so sorry, Rob. Hopefully, within the next week, I will start feeling a little bit better and start doing some videos. But I just feel that at this time, the best thing I can do is to do some resting and go from there. Now, I don't want people thinking, oh my God, she's got the virus. To be honest with you, it's a possibility. Who knows? Right now, I am self-quarantined. I am working from home. But I have to be completely honest by saying, I have a lot of fatigue and I'm very, very tired. So I haven't really been working on a lot of projects. I have been working from home though, which I feel like sometimes I've just been hit by a truck, and the last thing you think of when you don't feel that great is working on projects. So there's a few things I'm working on right now that have basically been put on hold because of this. Now, I will update everyone. I will let you know how I'm doing and how I'm feeling, but at this point, I just thought it would be best to reach out to all of you. I didn't want to just be completely silent and have everyone wondering, oh my gosh, what happened to Jene? So that's why this video is going out. Also, I thought I would take an opportunity to share with you my work experience in 2003. And the reason why you're probably going, Jene, why do we need to know this? I worked for the Toronto Western Hospital in Toronto. I was hired back in 2003, and SARS broke out in 2003. So I wanted to share with you what happened during that outbreak. Now, before I even start sharing with you this, ouch, I just want you to all understand, I am not a nurse. I am not a doctor. I was an administrative assistant for the Division of General Surgery. And I had kept track of all of our surgeons, secretaries, nurses, and house staff, or what you would call residents. So I'm not sharing this with you to spook you or to alarm you in any way. I'm sharing this because I feel that it is important that everyone understands how this can impact our daily lives. And I'm not going to go into like a real long spiel with us because I think we all somewhat know what we should be doing and what we can do to not only protect ourselves, but protect others along the way. Now, as I said, SARS broke out in 2003, and I had just started working at the Toronto Western Hospital. Our office, I have to describe this office to you. Our office was inside the hospital on the 8th floor in the old wing. And when I mean old, we're talking our office space was an old ward. So my office was shared with another secretary. We had enough space for two fairly nice sized desks, about 4 filing cabinets, and then there was a washroom in our office as well. Now, we also used it as a reception area for our patients that were referred to us. So we used it as a clinic space, okay? Now, there were several other rooms that were being used as offices for the surgeons. And then we had, I believe, 3 examining rooms. Again, all in the old ward. So each room was like an old hospital room at some time. Our patient's waiting room was the hallway. We had chairs lined up against the wall, and basically they'd come upstairs, they would register with the secretary and or myself, and then once we got all the information, got their chart ready, they sat down in the hallway. So that was our setup. Currently, though, it's not like that. They have redone that floor, but yeah, that's how it was during SARS. So the day that SARS hit Toronto Western Hospital, I can't give you the exact date. I do believe it was on a Thursday when we were told. But the day it hit us was very different. So that's why I wanted to go over this. So that morning we all came into work. Everything was as normal. No issues. That morning, one of the secretaries was getting her patient charts ready because they had a clinic starting at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So during lunch, we always had our door closed because we didn't want patients coming in and interrupting as we were trying to prepare for a clinic. And then usually about 5 minutes before 1, we would open up the door so that if there were patients out there, they could register with us, or if there were any patients out there that needed questions or had any concerns, at least they could come through and ask questions. So 5 minutes to 1, we opened up the door. To our surprise, there was nobody there. Usually for a clinic, patients try to arrive, within 10-15 minutes before their time, but there was nobody there. So we just kind of assumed it was caused from registry. Now, if you were a new patient to the hospital, you had to register and get a hospital card before you go to your clinic. So we just assumed that's what it was. So about 1:30, we started getting a little bit more concerned because by this time, 4 patients had not shown up. And when that happens, it just causes a huge backup, and then you end up having a clinic that is running overtime. So we were just kind of getting concerned. I had said to the secretary that she may want to consider calling down to either security or information and find out if there was, something going on downstairs that we were unaware of. Now, this time, nothing was communicated to us. So when she called information, it took a while for someone to answer the phone, but when they did, the response she got immediately was, currently right now the hospital is in lockdown. The administrator of the hospital will be coming up online and making an announcement. And once that announcement is done, then your head of your department will come in and speak to all of you. And then the person hung up. So we didn't even get to ask a question. She just rambled that off, and that was it. So now we're more confused because we have no idea what's going on. Now that, like I said, that was probably around 1:45. So around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the administrator of the hospital gets on the loudspeaker and starts to explain to everyone that the hospital was in fact in lockdown. Nobody was coming in and nobody was leaving. Now, if you were a visitor, there were, people that would come in and talk to you. But basically, the message was that we were going to get, or we would hear from our head of our department what to do, what the plan was, and that was it. So we had to wait for our department head to come in and talk to us. Now, I have 2 small kids at the time, and they were home alone. I didn't know what to expect. I was worried. And when they say they were in lockdown and nobody was going in or out, I was preparing for the worst, I guess you can say. So I called my boys and I told them, listen, I don't know what time I'm going to be home, and it may not be tonight, but I will call you and let you know. Just, stay in the house and don't, motherly things. Don't do this, don't do that. So another half an hour went by, and the head of our department comes in, sits down, and explains the situation. And his explanation was simple. There is a serious virus going on. We do not know everything about it as of yet. There are a lot of people infected and at one of the hospitals in Toronto. What this means is that our hospital at this time is in lockdown mode. Nobody can go in, nobody can come out. They may change that rule within the next half an hour to hour, allowing employees to go home and family members to leave the hospital because they felt it was safer for them to be at home versus being in the hospital. Now, he also stated that if we were to leave, we would have to call first thing in the morning before we left for work to make sure that the hospital was either reopened or reopened to employees only. So basically that was our message. We were eventually let out of the hospital to go home to our families. And again, we were told that we needed to call the hospital before attempting to come in, because if the hospital was in shutdown, even to employees, they wouldn't let you in, period. Just, they wouldn't. Now, I went home that night, and I usually left really early in the morning. I think my train left around 5:32 in the morning. So at 4 o'clock, I called the hospital, and there was a message, one of those automated messages. Went through all of that, and then finally a person comes on the line, and I asked them, is the hospital in shutdown or do the employees come back? And she said the employees are allowed to come back. However, they have to go through the side entrance. And she says, be prepared. They have pop-up tents up, and you will have to answer a questionnaire have your temperature taken, and you'll be handed appropriate protective gear. And I thought, wow, that was fast. So I did go to work, and as she had said, there were 3 pop-up tents. The first tent you went to, you had to answer a questionnaire. Now, before you could even go into the pop-up tent, you had to put some hand sanitizer on your hands. You had a mask put around your face, and then you were able to answer the questionnaire. Once the questionnaire was answered and you gave them the information that they needed, you went to the next tent, and that's where they took your temperature. And then after that tent, you went to the next tent, and then they would hand you a protective gown to wear over your clothes. You had protective cover for your shoes, gloves, and a face shield. Now you got to remember, then they didn't know what they were dealing with, but they wanted to make sure that they did everything in the humanly possible to protect the patients that were already in the hospital and their employees. Now, this went on for a couple of weeks, and we had to do this every time we walked into that hospital. We had to have our temperatures taken, we had to put our gear on, and then we were allowed in. After a few weeks, though, they realized that employees that didn't have, or I should say, employees that did not have direct contact with patients didn't need to go through this. Now, the reason why is because clinics, elective surgeries, elective testing, all of that was canceled. The surgical department was still open, but for emergency basis only. In other words, it had to be life-threatening. All testing for cancer patients remained open. So all of that was not shut down. But if it was something elective, like let's say a gallbladder surgery or a colonoscopy, things like that, unless it was for screening for cancer, it was all closed. And so they were like that for months. And I'm being honest with you guys, that went on for months. It didn't end quickly. So the reason why I'm bringing this up, and I do apologize if I'm repeating myself here. The reason why I'm bringing this up is to bring out awareness and understand the importance of what something like this can do. This virus acts differently than SARS, although it is somewhat in a similar category. It is a respiratory problem. This affects your lungs. You have symptoms of the flu or cold. SARS acted the same way. The difference between this virus and SARS is the way it's being spread and the quickness of the spread. That's the difference between this one and SARS. So when you're being told, please stay home, work from home, social distance, limit yourself in groups, they're doing this to protect you, and they're doing this to protect the most vulnerable people out there. They're not doing this to punish you. They're not doing this because it's a hoax. They're not doing this because it is a political war. They're doing it because they're trying to protect everyone. They're trying to eliminate the rapid spread of this virus. It's so important that we do our part in the community so that it doesn't spread and it doesn't take somebody's life. I've seen videos of people not following these guidelines and these practices, and I just cringe because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if you only knew what could really happen, they wouldn't be out there. So anyway, as I said, I'm just going to do this very short video. Please, everyone, be safe, and if you can, stay home. If it's possible, work from home. If you feel ill, please stay home. If you have concerns, you know, like you're not 100% sure if you have it or not, I'm sure there is a helpline that you can call in your community to help. If not, they could probably have a website. I know here we are directed to call a specific group of people, and they also have a questionnaire that you could answer online to see if you actually need to be tested, or is it just a regular cold or flu. Believe me, that questionnaire is extensive. It asks a lot of questions. And again, if you're unsure and you still want to speak to a human person, pick up the phone and call. I mean, I can't stress that enough. It's better to be safe than sorry. So anyway, everyone, again, I just wanted to touch bases with you on that. Rob, if you're watching, I do apologize, and I will keep in touch with you via email to let you know how I'm feeling, and then we can proceed with the collaboration. So everyone, by saying that, I'm going to go ahead and end the video. Please, please be safe, stay healthy, and I will keep all of you in my heart and in my thoughts. So if you find the video informative, please let me know by giving me that thumbs up. I would greatly appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, a big howdy and welcome. If you like what you see and you like what you heard, I hope that you'll consider subscribing to the channel. Also, if you do subscribe, there is a little bell that's right next door to that subscribe button. Please hit that bell. That bell will let you know when I've uploaded my next videos. Also, everyone, just to let you know, there is a Facebook group out there if you're interested in joining, called Crafty Things by Jene and Island Girl. We would love to have you join the group. And this group is open for all crafts, not just diamond painting. So whatever craft you enjoy doing is more than welcome to join our group. I will have that information linked down below if you're interested. So if this is morning for you, have a very pleasant morning. If this is afternoon for you, have an excellent rest of your afternoon. And if this is evening for you, have a very relaxing evening. Again, everyone, my name's Jene. Thank you for joining me today on the review. Before I say goodbye, I do want to make one last announcement. I will not be going live until I start feeling a bit better. So just in case. And I will make that announcement in our Facebook group as well. So everyone, take care. God bless. We'll talk again real soon. Bye, everyone.